All right, so I have two topics here, but before I get going, I want to let you know I am from the state of Montana. I have been with Algorithm for 4 years. I truly enjoy consulting, but I do have two topics I'd like to discuss with you for 26R1. Uh, Changing picking locations on the fly, instant location changes when inventory isn't available, and default purchasing source for non-stocks. Today, we'll take a look at both of the scenarios. I'll walk you through how they work and the setups required for them. We'll get started with the first one with changing picking locations on the fly. All right, so this is my Acumatica local, and it's a basic configuration required for picking locations. You would go to your sales order module, your warehouse management tab, and then down below here, you'll see the allow picking location changes. Just go ahead and select that checkbox. That'll allow any picker to change a location while they're picking. The great thing about that, right, is so when someone's out there picking, you have your pickers out there and he gets to a location, say something's missing or it's damaged, then it gives him the ability to change the warehouse location and pick from another available location. Of course, there's some back end stuff that'll still need to be done, like why wasn't it there and things like that, but at least he can continue on with his picking. So again, all you need to do as an admin or manager is make sure that this allow picking location is selected. All right, so let's go ahead and demonstrate. I've already created a shipment to get us going. And as you can see on this shipment 6641, it's requesting the location of R1S1, right? And that's going to be the same location that's going to be on my pick list as well. But I'm going to go ahead and act like I am the picker, and I'm going to go to my pick, pack, and ship screen. And note that this also works with RF guns as well as the mobile application. I'm going to go ahead and put in my shipment number. And the new features, as you can see, is right here, this change location, right? So my current pick is telling me to pick out of R1S1, which we just saw on the shipment. But if I go ahead and select that button, the change location, it's going to pop up with this box that's giving me all of my available locations and my available quantities. So let's go ahead and change it to a different location. I'm going to change it to R2S3 and then go ahead and hit this change button. Note that you could select multiple locations if you wanted to, or, it'll continue to reduce until you hit your quantity. But I'm just going to, for this demonstration, select that one. I'm going to continue on with the normal process of picking and packing, and that would be entering my location. But let's give this a couple minutes or a couple seconds for it to update real quick. It looks like it's still working there. All right, let's see. Come on, baby. And it's okay. We're going to give it a couple seconds. Like I said, sometimes our systems work a little slower, but it's okay. So if it does not, then we can always go. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and continue my normal process, which would be your normal picking process of putting in that location. But now I have to put in the updated location because I did change the location. So let's go ahead and put in my updated location. I'm going to go ahead and enter. And then I'm going to put in my item number. And of course, you could scan it if you had the RF gun. All right, once I put in my item number, then I'll go ahead and continue on with the next step once that populates. All right, so as you can see, it's saying I've already picked the one. I'm going to go ahead and confirm my shipment from here. You can also confirm picking. It's all based on what your process steps are currently. And then I'm going to go ahead and show you the current shipment and how it updated once this completes. All right. We'll give it a couple seconds for it to complete. As it's completing, no, it's going in the background and it's updating my shipment. It's updating my current pick list that I had with this new location that I did change it to. So sometimes it could be a couple of seconds. So I'm going to go to my shipment. Let me go ahead and refresh my screen so that it can pull up this new revised location that I did. Right. Okay, so as you can see, this is my shipment, and before I had a different location. Now it updated with the R2S3 location is what I expected to see, right? So with that, just note that when you make that setting, this allows any picker to change the location. So make sure you document your processes correctly or work with your pickers to create a good documentation of if they do change the location to let you know, or there's also a new GI that's been created that allows you to visualize that, which is history of picking location changes, okay? So you do have that option as well. And then I'm going to go ahead and show you my second feature, which is the purchasing source for non-stock items. Let me switch over. So I went ahead and created 2 non-stock items. I'll go ahead and show you the 2 different setups for these. So the first one I have here is a catalog. This feature is great, for example, if like you have regular orders of catalogs, resale items, and you always have to go in when you create the sales order of setting the purchase order source to the sales order source to purchase, sorry. And so what this does is it allows that button to be automatically selected. So if you set up on your non-stock item down below, it has to show the required receipt as well as the required shipment. But then you have this new field called source for sales orders. You have 2 options, drop ship and purchase to order. I've created 2 items, my catalog, which I currently have set up as drop ship. And then I as well created my second item. And let me show you that one as well. Has the exact same settings of the required receipt, the required shipment. The only difference is that I set up the purchase source to be different to allow you the 2 different examples, right? So we have here the purchase to order on this one, whereas my other one had drop ship. So I'm going to go ahead and create a sales order so you can see how these work. Put it there, and then let's go ahead and put in a customer. Right. Give it a second to pull my customer information. I'm going to go ahead and add my lines. I'll start by adding my catalog. I'll put in a quantity of 1. And then as you can see, if I go over to my right, you'll see now, since I set those settings up on the non-stock item, going forward, every sales order that I create with this item, it's going to automatically mark it for PO with a PO source of dropship. Let's go ahead and while we're in the sales order, let's go ahead and add that second item. Oh, there it goes. All right. I'll go ahead and put in a quantity of 1 as well. And then we'll scroll over and take a look. And as you can see now, this one also says mark for PO, but my PO source is purchase to order. So I'm gonna go ahead and save this. And then what would follow would be your normal purchasing process. Your buyer would go into their create purchase orders. Let me go ahead and refresh my screen. They would go into their create purchase orders and they would see that those 2 new demands have just populated on this screen. So one, they would know that they have to create a purchase order for a drop ship and then a regular purchase order for the second item. All right, and here we go. See, we have the sales order for drop ship for the catalog and the sales order to purchase. So what they would end up doing is just selecting that and hitting process, and it would create those purchase orders for them. All right. Okay. So that was a great way of setting up a non-stock item so that what happens is once it's set up, they don't have to continue to set that button all the time of hitting that, purchase source. Now what they've done is it's automated it a little bit and they don't have to remember, avoiding any errors in the future of going back into that PO and saying, oh man, I forgot that was a drop ship. Now let me go set it up as a drop ship. That button allows them to know that that's a drop ship every time a sales order is placed for them. So what we did today was picking locations on the fly, which is great for, like I said, when that picker is out there picking and can't find the item. And so they need to continue on and you don't want them to have to go find a manager to change their shipment. They can just change it right on the fly. And as well as the default purchasing source for non-stock, which allows the non-stock item to automatically set that purchase source.